There's some low staccato brass in that track towards the end. And the problem is that when there's an awful lot of noise going on, and you do very sharp brass sounds, it just sounds like somebody making a fart noise. Hello. 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 Welcome to the stream. We're back. From 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Hi, Duck. How you doing? Yes, I think it was 2 weeks ago we started this. This is, or was, my attempt to draw... Raft is out of early access. What? How does... What? My word. Everything's changed. Notes are voice acted. Oh dear, we're not starting again, are we? Well, that's something. I guess I should update my game then before Saturday, assuming Saturday is Raft Day. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll hop into the game and see if anything's broken. Yay. How are you doing? Apart from enjoying nice social distancing at the cinema. They've streamlined the story. There was a story to streamline? Can you make it more streamlined than that? Let me hop over to... Yeah. Exactly. Well, they're just taking it out. Is that what you mean? Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago we started drawing all of the bosses in Dark Souls. Well, we drew all the bosses in Dark Souls 1 and 2. And my attempt, I was trying to do 1, 2, and 3 in 2 hours. It took 3 hours to do the first 2 games. So, you know, 2 hours for 3 games, 3 hours for 2 games. I got the numbers right, just the wrong way around. How you doing, Christy? Says Nia, I did change it. Twitch, what are you doing? I changed the title. How honestly? How honestly? Changed the this does this sometimes. The title has changed, but the category hasn't. Save! We're not doing Neo. God, blimey. Did I save it twice? Probably not. You don't remember Smelly Pasta Monster? Smelly Pasta Monster. Smelly Pasta Monster? Talking about the rotten? Now it says art. Goodo. Which is still not a particularly accurate terminology. It's basically just chatting. Just chatting and doodling. Wouldn't describe any of this as art. But, did you save it twice and do the blood sacrifice to the almighty Twitchin god of Monet? No. No, I did not. I did none of that. And I refused to. This curve is heavy on the negative side. Well, we've just done Dark Souls 2, so... mechanically a subpar game. But, well, not subpar. Subpar in the series. It's a good game on its own. It's better than Lords of the Fallen, for example. How does one find a smelly pasta monster? With your nose, probably. It's Where's Wally? Just do a Where's Wally, but with all Soulsborne bosses and then Wally in there somewhere. Yeah, so we've done Dark Souls 1 and 2. This is my grading curve. Just as a rough reminder, we don't really have a strict criteria going on here. It's just what I feel at the time. C is average. Anything below D, I wouldn't mind if it was removed. Anything above B, I would be quite upset if it was removed. Anything from D to B is kind of, fine. Now, DS3 and Bloodborne. Now, here's the question. Do we do Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3 first? Do we finish off the Dark Souls franchise, or do we go in chronological order? Because Bloodborne came before Dark Souls 3. And I do intend on doing Sekiro and Elden Ring. So... I've also slightly elongated the canvas. Because I'm going to fill this up. This is going to get big. It is mostly going to be in the middle. But yeah, the bell curve has somewhat tilted down to the bottom side. There's some nonsense down here. Who are you? Oh, Giant Lord, yeah. So long as I can recognise which one each of these are, this is basically a success. Which one will muddy your opinion by comparison more? I mean, my opinion is already, like, puddle in a field. There is no real clarity. What one do I want to do most? I mean, it's less a question of which one do I want to do most and which one do I want to do least. Which one do I not want to do least? What? You know, Bloodborne's got the one reborn, but Dark Souls 3 has Aldrich, so neither of those are going to be fun to draw. Let's finish off the trifecta first, and then we'll move on to Bloodborne. Yeah, we'll do Dark Souls 3. Just draw a redacted bar. Is there anything I would have to do a redacted bar for? Well, Millennia. But we're not doing that yet. So, okay, let's do Dark Souls 3. We start with Gundir. Well, we start with Iudex Gundir. Who is a guy, I'm gonna have to draw stuff now. I haven't sort of sketched anything today. This guy's got a big old halberd. Does some spins. I think he's got like a kind of crown of thorns thing going on. Armor face. Lots of armor. And then just like big old horrible dragon thing coming out of him. Sure, that works. This is essentially the asylum demon of this game. It's the thing that's supposed to sort of teach you combat. It's the gatekeeper, the judge, Iudex. Judex, as it were. Soft J. I don't mind being half-fasted 3.5 hours. These games, I should specify, Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne have quite a limited, well not limited, a reasonable number of bosses. About the same as Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 2 had like 1.5 times as many as it should. So, this stream should definitely be shorter than the previous one, so long as I don't take too much time doing things that don't matter. I'm also using the wrong brush. Let's get nice strong lines going on. Yeah, this is a quick boss, by which I mean it moves very quickly. This is not your kind of methodical learn the ropes of Asylum Demon. This is you got to pay attention. You got to learn quick. It kind of works. Got the lovely sounds of Medulla in the background. Big old swooshy thing. So you're a nice year-old day with Gundir. Gundir, yes. Iudex Gundir. It's alright. I think it's fine. It's kind of cool. So it's novel, because you don't fight it with the big horrible thing coming out of it at the start. That happens halfway through the fight. The first thing you do to say hello to it is you pull a sword out of its chest. Has an idea that was pretty much removed and was meant to be much more important with the sludge monster. Probably, yeah. Passive Man really does feel like it wasn't used very much in the story. Feels like it should have been more important, but it wasn't. Kind of thorns. Etc. We can't spend too much time on this. I think this is fine. Good boss teaches game pace, parrying introduces the more impactful second stage mechanic they introduce. Yes, there's a lot of phase 2 stuff going on in this game, and the games hereafter. So yeah, let's. I think Yeah, C plus. It does. It's not. I don't quite like it as much as Asylum Demon. That might have something to do with having done Foggate. I don't know. When I think of Dark Souls 3, I don't think of Gundir. It's only when I play it and I'm like, oh yeah, gotta fight that. It's fine. It's good. It's alright. What's after that? Vort. Vort is big ol' angry armor. Runs around on the floor like an animal. Breathes frost at you, introducing the frostbite mechanic, which is new. Is a counterpart to the dancer, in as much as you have the beastly one and the elegant one. Satisfying to dodge when he's doing his charge thing, but it takes you a while to learn it, and once you have, before you've learned it, it's a pain. But a novel idea. I like this idea of like the giant armored monster, but it's not acting like a big knight. It's acting like a. Internet died. What did you miss? Not a lot. Gundir C+. Vort is kind of cool. Breathes frost. Again, we don't have much time for these drawings because I've got to do 2 games worth in a stream. So, I'm terrible at remembering what armor looks like. Like Vort, good puppet. That's all right. That's fine. That's fine. Interesting notion. It's fine. I have no particular annoyances with it. I'll put it in the C. It's all right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'm looking back at the other things that I've said things about, and trying to work out roughly where that sits. Yeah, Quelaag is more annoying than Vort, so that's fine. That works out. Came harder when they decided Frostbite should actually do something. Yeah, Dark Souls 3, Frostbite doesn't do anything. Elden Ring, they're on top of it. You wait till the next game. Everything will have sleep. After that, there's a long gap, honestly, after that between bosses, but you can fight the tree, Curse Rotted Greatwood. Curse Rotted Greatwood is an interesting thing. It's got a lot of balls. In terms of service, this should have it. Yeah, this should. You do spend most of the fight between its legs attacking its walls. That is how the fight works. Got big hands, and then there's like another bit where it's all rotten and open, and there's a hand coming out of that. It's phase 2. I like the best bit about this fight is the fact that the entire floor caves in after phase 1. It's an optional boss, that is true. That gives it bonus points for the fact that I was about to say it's a pain to fight. It's also kind of a multi-enemy fight because there's a bunch of enemies in the first half that are also trying to attack you, but they're not that big a deal because the tree also kills them. There's big old sort of poison sacks dangling from it. This is an unpleasant boss. Honestly, as a fight, not great. It suffers from the whole camera thing again. Bad camera. Having to run away. You know, that was the criticism I had of Gaping Dragon, was having to run away from the vomit. This time you have to run away from the rotten fruit. And then just sort of wait for it to go. And then hope that it's kind of got Bed of Chaos hand. That's just like, you can't pay attention to it while you're attacking, so it's just going to hit you because it comes from above you. And any comparison to the Bed of Chaos is not going to be favourable. More pustules on the legs. Just slows you down. It does damage you as well. Yeah, I'm gonna put this. I like this. I like the spectacle. The fight is not fun. I don't know why it gives you the transposing kiln. It should also. It feels like it should be more important because it's supposed to be an arch tree, and arch trees are really important to the lore of Dark Souls, and it's just sort of there. I don't know. There? It's kind of cool. Yeah, I wouldn't put it below D. I would be upset if it's cool visual. It's unique. It's a unique boss. Then, well, we can split off here. Crystal Sage. This is basically Crystal Sage, right? Aldrich's music is playing in the background. So Crystal Sage is basically taking the idea of Big Hat Logan and going, what if that was a boss? And what if it was Pinwheel, but better? Still not good though, but it's better. less of a cool design. But it just has the whole thing of duplicating and casting spells. It's Pinwheel again, effectively. This boss is just Pinwheel again. But in my opinion, less cool. But also it has health. And if you've ever played a mod of Dark Souls 3 that changes all of the spells randomly, this boss is fun. Because you don't know what it's gonna do. It's a mess. You know this Pokemon, Big Witch Hat. Big ol' hat. Big ol' crinkly sage hat. I don't know. Honestly, it doesn't have any bearing on anything. I don't think it has any lore. It's not a particularly interesting fight up and around there. Down there. The fact that it's a gimmick boss that doesn't even have its own gimmick is a bit of a. I'm probably going to judge it quite harshly for that. Yeah, I think that's may very well be the lowest thing we see on this list, and that surprises me honestly. But for Dark Souls 3, I should say. Deacons of the Deep. Now I've done a video on them. We have candelabras. Deacons of the Deep, they're another gimmick boss, effectively. Mob boss, but any individual element of the mob doesn't really care that you're there all that much, at least in the first phase. And they just sort of share a soul that hops between them until it comes out in the Archdeacon. I quite like the gimmick. It's got this sort of timed thing going on. Where if you take too long, they'll start cursing the air around you, and then bad things will happen. I think they're kind of cool. I kind of like them. They're not the best gimmick boss in the world, but it's kind of fun. Plus 70. It has a counterpart in the library that's like its lore. Well, then we just have that one then. Does it need to be a boss? You can summon Unri and Horus to help wade through. Marvelous. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I have a soft spot for gimmick bosses that actually have something interesting going on. I like their design. I feel like it's essentially, what if the congregation from Dark Souls 2 was actually good? So yeah, I'll give it. I wouldn't want it to go. So about there, give it a Gundir. Yeah, what it lacks in a good fight that Gundir has, it makes up for in a cool gimmick. For me. Love my Deacons. Yeah, I always wanted to do it for the congregation as well. Do a video redesigning all them for fun. Might do that. Put that on the list. That sage is the one that did all the magic tutoring for the Undead Legion. What would be missing if you took that out? Would anything feel like something's unexplained? The Undead Legion, they learn magic from all of the sources of magic in the world, you know? Lore is only significant if it connects to other lore, in my opinion. But anywho, so that's that. Now let's go back to the main path, which has the watchdogs, the Farron watch. What are they called? Abysswatchers. That's what they're called. Who are like the Artorias wannabes. They've got these weird hats. I don't really know what their deal is. They're like stabbing each other. Exciting music going on. Feels very Dark Souls 3. Probably Dark Souls 3. And they got that weird sort of parrying dagger thing going on in this hand. This is also a gimmick fight. Mob boss fight where, like, it's not all versus you. Sometimes they fight each other. There's like one with red eyes who fights anything it gets near, including the other ones, or you. The red-eyed one. And then when you kill the multi-enemy phase, it's a one-on-one with like one that gets a big old fire sword. All the souls amalgamate into one. Whoops. Maybe I've selected the wrong color. This is one of those fights that when you learn it, it's very satisfying to execute. The second phase. However, the first phase, during my first playthroughs, plural, was an absolute pain in the ass. Again, I do not like multi-enemy fights. That's not going to change. Again, this has the kind of nice one of there's one on your side, but doesn't last very long before it dies. It'll come back up, but you still have to survive in that time, and survive in such a way that you still have health and compos mentis to fight the next phase. Yeah, my bias is going to appear on this one, but it's my list, so it can. I'm going to be the one on fire. It's not actually on fire. Well, they're embered. Just parry. No! I haven't parried anything in any Dark Souls game except one. Because my first Dark Souls game was 2, and it taught me that parrying is impossible. So yeah, I'm gonna... Honestly, the second half of the fight is actually very good. This is something you'll hear me say a lot, particularly in the Elden Ring one. The second part of this fight is extremely good. The first part of this fight is a pain in the ass. So I guess in that sense it's a bit like Ornstein and Smo. So I should probably put them roughly on the same level as Ornstein and Smo, right? They're not as iconic though. They don't have the same... Again, they're anonymous. They are the anonymous Farron Legion, whose most of their identity is basically that they like Artorias and they're doing more Artorias stuff. Points deducted for lack of originality. Let's put it on D. It's annoying, it lacks originality, but it does have a cool gimmick, and the second phase is really, really good. It's a shame their weapon is so cool, but every one of its attacks is parryable. I mean, that's the trade-off, you know? We're half an hour in. Oh god, this is happening again. Next, Wolnir. Another gimmick boss. There's quite a lot of gimmick bosses in 3, turns out. Wolnir is a big skelly bob. He's got a crown. And when I say big skelly bob, he's a big skelly bob. He's made of skulls and skeletons. He's like Nito, but bigger. Again, a lot of things in Dark Souls 3 are, hey, what if we took that thing in the previous game but made it like more? Yeah, it's got big. Yeah, the gimmick of this is you fight them in an abyss-like place, and they're being saved from the abyss by their big golden bracelets that they have on their arms. And you smash the bracelets, and they get consumed by the abyss, and you win the fight. So it's not really a fight. You're not fighting Wolnir. You're fighting the bracelets. Or if you just killed him, he just fades away. Oh, nice. So you can fight Wolnir. And there's just like a big cloak, I think, or a big something covering the back, and he just sort of fades into the abyss. Love the opening of this fight, which is complete blackness and then like an item just here, and that's all you can see, and you walk into the item, and all of a sudden you're face to face with an absolutely enormous skeleton. You're about this big for scale. This thing is big. Pulls a golden sword out of the ground. A lot of this is cool. Summons other skeletons to fight you. That's annoying. Has a mist breath attack, which if you are attacking his arms, which is what you're supposed to do, and he starts doing it, you probably can't run away in time, and it will just kill you. That's bad. Again, cool visuals, lackluster fight, I'd say. Gimmick is just kill the weak spot, which in this case is bracelets. It's not very good gimmick. Pretty tried and tested. But you can, in true Dark Souls fashion, you can ignore the weak spot and just fight normally if you want to take 3 hours. The mist is weird. If you're under him, you're safe. That, I feel like that's not true. I feel like I've done it. Either way, it's annoying. It has annoyed me enough in the past for me to dock points. So more or less, I don't remember being as annoyed as Artorias fanboys. There, I think that's probably fine. Where's Nito? Oh wow, Nito's lower. Is that right? Yeah, Nito's not as. Yeah, no, Nito's more annoying fight. That's fair. Yeah, that's a C minus. It's a really cool visual. Massive, massive skeleton. It acts as a wave rather than an AoE. Oh. After this, we have Irithil, which means we have a choice. We can go down to Jorm, or we can do something else. Let's go down to Jorm. Jorm is another big boss, literally a giant. Another gimmick boss. Turns out there's a lot of those. In Dark Souls 3 at least. Big old cleaver. You have to use a weapon that's, well, you don't have to. Again, you can chip away tiny bits of damage if you want to, and people have. People have beaten this boss using just the chip damage you have from having the Thorns armor on and rolling into his feet, which does like 1 damage a tick. It takes several hours. He's on a cool throne when you walk in as well. But yeah, there's just a weapon in the arena. You can fight. You don't have to, but pretty much you fight using that weapon, and it has a special attack, and I'm not too keen on that kind of gimmick. I'm more keen on the fact that this is the culmination of Siegward's questline, and you get to fight with Siegward, which is a good time. That's kind of cool. So if you don't want to use the weapon, someone else can. It's neat. Jorm's called back to an enemy from Demon Souls. As far as I'm aware, the weapon that you use in this is a reference to a Demon Souls boss. So, again, haven't played Demon Souls, but I think is it the big manta ray thing? Again, don't really know Demon Souls. I've tried to avoid as much Demon Souls as possible, but there's only so much you can avoid. Honestly, my biggest annoyance with this fight is it has eyes, which retcons the appearance of the giants in Dark Souls 2. Which don't have eyes, they just have hollow faces, which was the coolest thing. That's my most annoying thing in this fight. It shouldn't have eyes. Shouldn't have eyes. It's alright. As big bosses go, it's good to avoid. You can keep track of it. The camera is not a problem in this fight. The other way you can beat him is shoot him in the head and you can get a critical attack. I have done that. I've bow only. Bow only. It's so hard to hit him in the head though. Got to get the right timing. But perfectly doable. What are we thinking for Jorm? We're thinking not annoying. It's not an annoying fight. Yeah, I just don't really have an awful lot to say about it, really. Yeah, C's fine. Alright. Any vehement disagreements yet, Dark? You said you were gonna have a go at me for my Dark Souls 3 choices. Falls down, get big stab, yeah. Sulivan. Not huge, not gimmick, just a fight. This boss really annoyed me for the longest time. Because, I don't know, it's just really getting to me. What does he look like? Has he got a crown? So many things have a crown in this game. I think he does. Put a little crown on you. It's got a weird sort of tree face. Sulivan's gimmick is essentially 2 swords. And after phase 1, 2 selves. So it's all kind of about timing. And this is what annoyed me, is when I was first playing it, it was like, oh, this is so annoying. I have to, You've given up already? Fantastic. Yeah, I was trying to play it safe and stay away and do all that sort of stuff. Doesn't he do a thing with swords where it's like, looks like this? He's got a cool thing with swords. I can't remember what it is. Quite important to the lore, although if you're not paying a lot of attention to item descriptions and stuff, you would never know that. This is just a boss in your way. Arguably, this is the character who started the entirety of Dark Souls 3. Yeah, so it's got like a kind of horrible dark sword and a big old fire sword. And it's a cool visual. It's neat. This is another boss that wants you to parry him. Again, I've never parried, but I have learned that this boss is best when you dance with him. You stay close, you dance, you react to the attacks, you dodge into them. It's a lot of moving around the boss. And when you learn that, oh, it's satisfying. This is a good, satisfying one-on-one boss fight. Yeah, and the fact that isn't really changed when phase 2 comes along and it gets like a clone that just sort of follows them around and does all the same sort of stuff. Hang on, let me copy paste, something like that. Because it does exactly the same attacks, but it just does them a little bit after, and it's just the right timing. It's just the right timing that you can dodge it all and get it right, and it fits with the dance, it fits with the rhythm. This is a boss with rhythm. And oh, it's lovely. You can avoid 50% of his attacks with emotes. Oh, wonderful. I've not seen that. I need to look that up. That sounds amazing. Yeah, Sulivan. I like this as a really good one-on-one boss fight. I can't remember what he looks like. He's got robes and stuff. Big old sword. 2 big old swords, I should say. Yeah. It's good. Very annoying when I was first learning it, but once I learned the trick of dance with him, it's good. It's real good. We're gonna put it up here. It's got that kind of Alon-y feel. Oh my god, was that my picture of Alon? That's Alon, apparently. I don't remember that at all. But yeah, I'll put it up with that. Honestly, I don't think the gimmick of having the second one really needed to be there. I don't think it adds anything to the fight other than visuals. It's alright. It's good. Actually, would I put it higher than that? Am I going to put it on the same level as the Burnt Ivory King, which starts with a mob fight, which is a pain in the ass? But am I going to put it? Yeah, no. Do you know what? No. Screw that. I can go in A. Why not? There's not a lot in A. This deserves to be in A. Fun thing with double faces, you can parry both and get a double riposte. Ooh. After that's Aldrich, which is, hey, do you remember Gwendolyn? What if that was hard? Aldrich is a big old pile of sludge eating a god. And boy, did they make the arrows that Gwendolyn fires a pain in the ass. Yeah, this is not. Also, Scythe. Got a Scythe now. Presumably stolen from Priscilla or something. I like the idea. Well, kind of. They could have just done Gwendolyn again, or like zombie Gwendolyn or something, but they didn't. They went for a creature that is in the process of eating Gwendolyn, which is kind of cool. That's very Dark Souls. And it's also got lots of other skelly mobs and bits and pieces, so on and so forth. I don't like the fact that it teleports around the arena. I don't like the fact that it trails fire. I don't like the fact that it has the spells that just sort of linger and then attack you after a while. How long? I don't know. It has lifesteal. It has arrows, which are just dodging the arrows is very much like dodging the vomit. This is now going to be a phrase I'm going to use: dodging the vomit. Where it's just a lot of running. Once you've worked out what you need to do, it's just a lot of running. Yeah. I don't think this is a great fight. Kind of neat lore-wise, this Aldrich character. It's kind of fun to see Gwendolyn back in a way that's actually somewhat intimidating rather than just very annoying. This is better than a Gwendolyn, right? We're going to use that as our basis. This is better than Gwendolyn. But not a huge amount. So where's Gwendolyn? Gwendolyn is D. So I think... Yeah. Yeah, that works. That's fine. B+, C-. That brings us back to Lothric, which means we fight Dancer. Now, I talked about... Sulivan having a dance to the fight, having a lovely rhythm to its sort of feel. A rhythm to its feel. That's not how words work. Yeah, just being able to sort of follow a rhythm and yeah, dance. You can't do that with Dancer. Oddly enough. I definitely get why she's called Dancer. It's not a misnomer. But I don't know what rhythm she's got going on in her head. It's very erratic. She's a very erratic thing. She's the companion to Vort, where Vort is animalistic. She is rather more sophisticated. And Speen. She's Speen. She does a lot of Speen. The Speen is actually probably the easiest attack to avoid, to be honest, but yeah, the timing of this fight. I wish this fight had more rhythm. Honestly, a lot of this fight feels like it was designed by a game designer to trip you up. It doesn't feel like you are fighting a thing, it feels like you are fighting a designer. Which is annoying, because it looks wonderful. Also 2 swords. Why? I don't know. Fire Sword and Dark Sword again? Well, I do know why, because the Vort dancer was sent by Sulivan. So there is a connection with the dance and all that. None of this, I can't remember what dancer looks like. She's got like armor and a veil. There's a lot of nice little sort of cloth physics going on. This is a terrible drawing. I just want to point that out. This is a terrible drawing. Just the worst. Yeah, phase 1 is just the one sword, phase 2 is both. And spin. Lots of spin in phase 2. How does armor work at the back? I don't know. That's a terrible drawing. They were a gift from Sully. Yeah. This is an awful drawing, but is what we've got. Yeah, I don't know. I don't enjoy this fight. I've never learned it properly because it feels like it doesn't want you to learn it. Feels like it just wants you to get punished for not having learned it yet. It looks very good. Let's put it with Vort. Why not? They deserve to be together. Sure. Did about 100 times and just cast the bleed spell. That was Doris's Gnaw. Doris's Gnawing was a heavy favorite on my Miracle Only playthrough. Bleeds good. Yeah. Then we have, let's go optional. Let's go Osiris. Who is like a kind of weird dragony thing. He's turned himself into a dragon, sort of. I think I can remember what he looks like. Absolutely not. He's got like these sort of weird bloodborne-y bits going on his back and stuff. Do you have ears? Give him ears. So it's sort of like halfway between transforming himself into a dragon, and it's not going well. Got a big old staff. He's carrying an invisible child, which may or may not be real. Called Ocelot. 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 The child of dragons. You have nothing to fear. The gimmick of this fight is that in phase 1, it hits you with the stick, fights you mano a mano, and then in phase 2, goes absolutely ballistic and turns into just straight up jumping backwards and forwards throughout the entire thing, flying through the air, screaming. Horrific nonsense. So it's basically 2 fights. This looks nothing like in a recurring theme in this in these streams. This looks nothing like Osiris, but whatever. It is real, but they made it invisible because squashing a baby would got him in a lot of trouble. Oh yeah, it does squash the baby in the transition from phase 1 to phase 2 when he gets angry. I think it's better for having an invisible baby. It feels appropriate. It feels a bit Bloodborne. This whole fight feels a bit Bloodborne, to be honest, but that's just the beginning of the tradition that Elden Ring continued, of reusing old things that probably would have fit better in the game they came from. But yeah, this is a fine fight. I have fond memories of this when I did this on stream, and I got halfway through the fight with no heals, and I was like, okay, I'll spend the rest of this fight just learning how it works, and then I beat it on no heals, and I'm still very proud of that. I'm usually not that good. I'm usually not that good at not getting hit. But that's basically my only real fond memory of this. It's kind of cool that the king isn't the significant character is the prince. The king has long since lost his marbles, and he's just off to the side. So, completely optional boss. And his offspring that he doesn't really care much about, they're the ones in charge now, and that's kind of one of the reasons everything's going wrong. Figure was just well, Priscilla is invisible, so the baby can be too. That makes sense. Priscilla is also sort of half dragon. This is fine. I have nothing against it. I have nothing really for it. Let's put it in the sea. It's good. Neat. Gundir is back. Gundir is back, baby. And this time, less blobby than ever. It's just Phase 1 Gundir, but now faster, more powerful, and boy howdy have you got to be on your toes for this fight. This is probably the straight up boss fight I had the most trouble with when I played Dark Souls 3. There's a lot more sort of like complicated bosses and stuff that are more of a pain, of ones that have 2 phases, all that sort of stuff. This is just a one-on-one fight, and it's relentless, completely relentless. There's just basically no room for pausing. There's no room for taking your time. It is just attack, 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 attack. If you don't parry, like me, it's gonna be a tough time. Does Gundyr have the thing with the multiple heads around, or is that Mirror Knight? Can't remember. But honestly, once you get to learning this fight, it's actually quite satisfying. I wouldn't say it's anything particularly to write home about. I like the fact that you fight them again, only this time this is pre-corruption. And you haven't, like, for all you know, you haven't done any time travel. You've just walked around, and you've ended up back to a place that you were at before. I think, honestly, the combination of this fight and its environment, you know, your hub area, but now nobody's there and it's all dark, is just kind of cool, and it raises questions, and I don't think anyone's really properly explained what's going on there, not to my satisfaction anyway. I think it's deliberately supposed to be something of a mystery. And it works well. And having this fight to boot makes sense. It's good going. There's definitely something I'm missing about the way this character looks. Another big buff chest. His face is on his shoulders, really? I've never seen that. There we go. But yeah, this is a fast, relentless fight. Not a lot unique about it, particularly given that it is literally just the phase 1 of a fight you've already done, but harder. But I have no... I don't hugely enjoy it, but I don't have any issues with it. So, see? Where was Gundyr? Gundyr 1. Gundyr 1 had the gimmick and was an introductory boss, so you can't really expect much of it. It does well at its job, you know? Missed the chance to save the day, and now he's stuck in the no flame days. Poor Gundy. We'll continue the optional content with Ancient Wyvern. Wyvern? I don't know why I said Wyvern. Never said Wyvern before in my life. Ancient Wyvern is the gimmickiest of gimmick bosses in the much you don't even fight it at all. It's just angry in an arena, and the arena is massive, and you run through the entire arena, get above it, and stab it in the head, and then it dies. It's not really a boss, is it? I like it. I like it because it's weird. It's novel. This isn't a boss fight. This is run to the button, essentially, while there is a massive monster chasing you. Well, not even chasing you. It largely stays in one place and just breathes fire. And there's a bunch of other enemies in the arena that try and get to you. This isn't real. Arguably, this is not a boss fight. It has a health bar, and you kill a thing at the end. But the job is not to fight a boss. And I like that. I like the fact that they're playing around with this idea of an arena and a boss fight being a massive, massive environment. Well, not massive, but certainly compared to most boss fights. The greatest challenge is getting jump attack at the start, which tricks it into thinking you did the plunging attack. No, the greatest challenge, as far as I'm concerned, is jumping off the thing, doing the attack for the animation for the plunge, and then just missing, and then falling to your death. That's honestly its biggest markdown for me. Is it just doesn't work sometimes. It's kind of buggy, but yeah, you can get it right at the start just by running up the stairs and jumping on its head. It's quite funny. It breathes fire at you, goes rare. Yeah, it's kind of neat. Don't really have. It's not the best gimmick in the world, but it's novel. It stands out in my mind as like the developers thinking, what could we do with a boss fight? You know, what could we do with the mechanics that we have available? The presumptions that we've set up. Because I imagine quite a lot of people when they first played this were like, okay, well, I got to run up to this thing and attack it. And then they realized that they were doing no damage. Some damage. You can kill it normally if you want to. I have done in my Miracle Only playthrough. No, is it Sorcery Only? I can't remember whether I did Miracles. I remember using like Pestilent Mercury or whatever it was called and just spending a lot of time waiting for its health to tick down very slowly. Tried that with some friends, host missed and died, you got it. Marvelous. Yeah, kind of buggy. Interesting, fun little gimmick. Again, first time experiences for me go a long way. But if your first time experience is learning what to do, doing it, and then dying because reasons, not great. I'm gonna put this sort of D. Can we go D? I'm gonna go just wings poking just above D, but mostly D. Didn't count because the death animation's too long. It's a long death animation, quite fun though. Basically, they did it better in Sekiro. Hi, Kiro! How you doing? Nameless King. What does the Nameless King look like? It's got like a thing. It's got like scraggly hair, right? It's kind of Gwyn-like hair. Because it's the Nameless King, who is the son of Gwyn, who was forgotten by history. This would have been better without being a two-faced fight. How you doing, Kira? You doing all right? How's the rash, the ivy? Flies around on a big chicken dragon. Good timing. Nemesis King's one of the few we remember. Fantastic. Does some lightning stuff. Yeah, this would have been better without being a two-phase boss fight. I remember when Dark Souls 3 first came out, everyone was like, this is the hardest boss they've ever made. Oh my god, it's so hard. It's not that bad, to be honest. It's not easy. It's not an easy fight. Phase 2 does take some learning, and there's some attacks in it that are like, you've just got to learn the timing, which is not my favourite. I would like to have a fight that, you know, feels like you're intuiting what's happening, rather than just memorize 1, 2, the dodge. Nemesis King and not Ornstein turned into a Wyvern. No. Yes, King of the Storms is, I believe, the name of the dragon. But I quite like this fight. I think it's all right. It's not what the hype led me to believe it was. It's not the best fight in the world. It's not the hardest fight in the world. But it's a nice, satisfying fight. I wish it wasn't 2 phases. I'm probably going to say that a lot in Elden Ring. I wish it wasn't 2 phases. Really didn't have to be 2 phases. Kind of annoying that it was 2 phases. Hey, what are you going to do? Poison's definitely there and it's spreading, but it'll be fine. Oh, no. Oh, did the people come? Did the people, the bush people come, or is that today? Sunbro went, screw you, Dan dragons are cool. I think this is good. This is good. Not amazing. Pretty good. B plus, yeah. A minus, B plus. Sure. Starting to, so it's still a bit bottom heavy, but we'll get there. That's the optional stuff. Cool fight, more of a chore. Yeah, it's a shame, really. And also a lot of when the Wyvern's flying around, there's an awful lot of just sort of waiting for it to come down. And, Guardian Dragon flashbacks. We need to hurry up. What's next? Carry on with the thing. Dragon Slayer armor. Speaking of Ornstein. Dragon Slayer armor is, what if Ornstein was massive and also relentless and had just a massive shield? And they just fully embrace the idea that this isn't a character, it's just armor. Which is basically most of the bosses in these games. It's not a character, it's just armor. Got a massive hammer thing. Hammer axe. What's it? Honestly, I have a bit of a soft spot for this boss. And I have a bit of a soft spot for this boss for 2 reasons. One, they are basically the only... they seem to be the only reason that the Pilgrim Butterflies exist. And I really like the Pilgrim Butterflies. They don't do a thing. In this fight, they fire projectiles from you from outside of the arena, and that's just kind of annoying. But they look really cool. Look amazing. And this idea that it looks just like sort of like the central nervous system and bursts out of somebody is really... and turned into this horrific butterfly. And you see like the remnants of these things throughout, like Yol and these pilgrims all scattered around, making their way to Lothric and then turning into these butterflies. It means absolutely nothing. It amounts to 0. But they're in the fight, so that's a bit of soft spot for me. Is there's at least a reason that they're there for this fight. The other reason I have a soft spot for this boss is because it's never killed me. Inexplicably, I do not know how. I have never died to this fight. This is a boss where I like the dance. This is a boss that has a dance to it, a rhythm that just feels good to react to. This is the opposite of the dancer. The dancer tries to trip you up. The worst dance partner there is. They're just constantly trying to trip you up as you're going along. This is a boss that wants you to dance with it. And it doesn't look anything like this, I should specify. But it's got a big old axe. And it's just got a rhythm. This just has such a nice rhythm to the fight. Good dodge timings, good attack timings. It's all there. I wouldn't say it's absolutely amazing and memorable and fantastic, but it's good. Honestly, the Pilgrim Butterflies are annoying. Yeah, the butterflies are another missed thing. A lot of ideas in Dark Souls 3 that they just didn't bother to think through because they were effectively making Dark Souls under a social contractual obligation. They have to make another Dark Souls game. So here's a bunch of ideas and we won't really think it through. Which is fair if you're fed up with the series. I'd rather you just make something different. And then they made Sekiro, which was really cool. And then they made Elden Ring, which was full of other ideas from other projects again. I quite like this fight. I've got a soft spot for it. It's not the best in the world, but I'm going to give it... yeah, let's put it on a B. It's like a bit like Asylum Demon, in the sense it's not a hard fight, it's not a particularly hugely memorable fight, but I got a soft spot for it. Is it just Lothric next? Lothric and Lorien? I guess? Lorien mostly, to be fair. So how do you draw this? So this is inbreeding the fight. Two sickly twins, princes to the royal throne, who have been inbred to the point of uselessness.
Dear brother, rise if you would.
Rise if you would. One is literally carrying the other through this fight. It's kind of cool. This boss also has a rhythm to it, which is kind of nice. It's not quite as solid. They do try and trip you up a bit more. I don't like the teleporting. Teleporting's annoying. One of my favorite things about this fight is that if you stand directly behind it, directly behind where it would spawn in phase 2, at the end of phase 1, it just won't do anything, and then you can pull out a bow and just fire at it. Kill phase 2 without it moving. Which is definitely what I did on my bow only playthrough. I don't know about you. Very okay with the companies mixing it too, and making something there's not just more of X to keep things interesting. I like their current trajectory seems to be something we want to make, the thing that will make everyone happy. Something we want to make, the thing that will make everyone happy. They're just alternating between those two, and I'm fine with that. So yeah, there's the two princes, twin princes. One's just crawling on the floor, attacking you with a massive sword. The other one is hanging on his back, in phase 2 at least, firing spells at you, healing his brother when he goes down. I don't know, it's kind of poignant in a weird way. You know, this is essentially, this isn't the final boss, but this is the Gwyn of Dark Souls 3. This is the kind of slightly sad, fallen from grace, but they represent the entire kingdom falling from grace, not just a god. Symbolically, I like it. As a fight, it's fine, right? I don't think I need to draw more than that. The teleporting is annoying, to be fair, but again, it's got the rhythm, which is good. The spells do get annoying in phase 2. I like this. I like the... It's also a visual that we haven't really explored in Dark Souls, really. This kind of... You know, a lot of Dark Souls is about stagnation and things not moving on when they should, and having, you know, royal families, inbreeding, stagnation of the gene pool and the consequences thereof. There's a good allegory for that. Lorien was Big Chad brother, gave up his vitality and let his sickly brother live. Only ounce of love in the game. Yeah. And then you kill them. Yeah, again, not a fight I love, but I have a soft spot for it, so I'll give it a good C+. Solar Cinder. What does Solar Cinder look like? A kind of burnt crown sort of thing. It's got sort of classic thing. Soul of Cinder is fan service done right. Is the best way I can really describe this boss, because it's like it represents all of the players in Dark Souls 1 and 2 who actually linked the flame. and all of the people since then who've kept linking the flame all the way through. If you finish the game, if you finish Dark Souls 1, you're in here. You are one of the people in this soul. And that's kind of neat. And you fight essentially a beefed up version of every kind of like build you can have in these games. There's a sorcerer build, there's a big sword build, there's a miracle build. He flips, he Hadoukens, he samurais, he does it all, exactly. It's just really cool. And then phase 2 basically turns into Gwyn, the first person who linked the flame, and very satisfying. The piano comes in. It's very good. Goosebumps. I can't draw it, unfortunately. I'm bad with armor. Why did I do this if I'm bad at drawing armor? Visually looks kind of cool. This kind of smoldering, melted sort of armor set that you're fighting. I think, does it fight with like the coiled sword? The sword that you keep seeing in the bonfires? I think it does. The sword transforms as the fight goes on. If it needs to use it as a staff, it'll turn into a staff, etc., etc. Yeah, use the bonfire, so that's nice. Gwyn, but pre-fire, yeah. Impressive Gwyn, as opposed to the slightly sad Gwyn that we have in Dark Souls 1. Not that I'm complaining, that's the whole point. I'll tell you what, let's... It doesn't look like lightning, does it? Got a sassy pose. So I had to step away for a bit, be back. Hi. And has one of the armor sets that actually affects your character's physique. Really? I didn't know that. You had to. No worries. No worries. We've just finished Dark Souls 3. Well, we finished the base game of Dark Souls 3. We have DLC to go. We're not far off schedule, so that's alright. I was considering doing the Chalice Dungeon bosses from Bloodborne, but I don't. We're not gonna have time. They're not in the game, as it were. They're in an optional side game. Forgot they had a couple of words typed up. That's fine. Someone came over and is doing some of the artwork, and someone had to step away. That someone was you. Well, I'm glad somebody's coming over and doing stuff. So, yeah. Soul of Cinder. I think it's a very fitting end to the series. It makes sense. Well, it's not an end. It's a continuation. We'll get to the end. I like it as... I guess it doesn't count for Dark Souls. I was about to say, it's like, I said it's like your character in Dark Souls 2 who links the first flame. You don't do that in Dark Souls 2. You just sit the throne. Oh, Old Demon King. I always forget about some of the optional bosses. Sorry, yeah, we'll do Old Demon King. This is a solid fight. It's a cool idea. Fan service done well. Not that I'm a huge fan of fan service. Ironically. It's not a frustrating fight. It's good. It does the job. It's impactful. Sure, I'll yeah. Let's go. And I personally don't enjoy it as much as Sulivan, but B+, why not? Old Demon King. Completely forgot about Old Demon King. It goes to show how good it is. Old Demon King is kind of the last of the demons, I guess. Well, not the last, but kind of one of the last. And it's this sort of old Demon King, I guess. I always think it's got a beard. Has it got a beard? It feels like it's got a beard. and it's kind of falling over, and it's not doing great. I think the design is kind of cool because it looks like what would happen if the demons from, like the Asylum Demon, Stray Demon, that sort of thing, sort of dried out. It sort of like looks like kind of stone or tree roots. It's very old, sort of. And only one eye? Oh, okay, didn't know that. It's got a kind of big staff where it calls down meteors. I don't know why it does, but it can. Does like rings of fire. It does spells, which is kind of interesting. So it's kind of like a connection to Demon Fire Sage, I guess. I don't know what its staff thing looks like, so I'm just gonna give it a big lump. Not honestly the best fight ever. I'll be honest, I find it quite annoying. But it gives us a bit of closure on the demons, I guess. Not that we really needed closure on the demons. The demons could have all died off after the Bed of Chaos was killed. I don't know. Was that one of the last ones to actually keep their Chaos Fire? Yeah, you do find a couple of demons, some stray demons around, who are... Some of them are just sort of burnt out, and they're just rock. And literally you attack them, and their legs just crumble off as you're attacking them. And it's very sad. But some of them still have fire. The closer you get to this boss, the more you come across who still have fire. But yeah, sort of crumbling. This is a very sad sight. A sad end for the demons. That'll do. Not amazing. Don't really like it as much as any of the demons in Dark Souls 1, to be honest. Or any of the Asylum Demon, Stray Demon, Fire Sage, etc. Cool idea and visual and continuation. Kind of an annoying fight. Honestly, if it had just been the dried up Stray Demon whose legs crumble when you attack them, I would have been fine with that. I don't think this boss really needed to exist, but it's kind of cool. It's not as good as Gundir. Down here, we don't really have many. You fit in there. You fit snugly in D. I think I wouldn't want you to be removed, but I wouldn't mind that much. Okay, I think that's Dark Souls 3. I think we have all the Dark Souls 3 base game bosses. If I've forgotten any more, do let me know. Optional ones do tend to evade my mind. DLC. Champion Gravetender and Champion's Great Wolf. I have no idea what the Gravetender looks like, so it's just some dude. It's just some dude. He's got a shield. And a sword. They're wearing a mask? Probably. What happens if I run out of space on one of the rows bigger canvas? I've already stretched the canvas. We're going to keep stretching it to the right. The sword and shield are more memorable than them. Yeah, you get their stuff afterwards, which is kind of cool. And then Big Wolf. Big Wolf, which is basically, hey, we like Sif. Sif's good. Sif's a good boy. Let's do more Sif. No sword in the mouth, though. This time it just runs around and does a lot of frost breath stuff. It's done in an icy place, kind of makes sense. This wolf is fast. Honestly, this guy... So phase 1 of this is just this guy and a couple of normal wolves. And it's just a kind of PvP fight. It's not spectacular, but it's fine. And then halfway through, this massive wolf comes in and just goes ballistic. And this guy's still here, annoying you while it happens. I don't like multiple character fights. You know this. We all know this. even on its own, the wolf probably wouldn't have been amazing. It's just Sif again, kind of, but less interesting because it doesn't have a sword in its mouth and doesn't have any story. Felt like they needed a boss, and they were like, "Oh, we've got wolves. We made a big wolf for this area. Let's make it into a boss with an NPC. Why not?" This is a bad drawing. I would be fine if these were removed, to be honest. Not particularly amazing. Actually kind of annoying to fight. Yes, but yeah, they're kind of annoying to fight. They're not that bad, really. Well, Congregation. As annoying as Capra? Not sure. What is there? You remember them? Looks like the Grave Tender is just wearing chain armor and the Dark Wraith hood. How memorable! How unique! Let's drag this along a little bit. Got a bit more space. Frida and Ariandel. Frida is cool. Ariandel is cool. They are both cool. My fleur. Frida is badass. Basically just this game's Maria though, so there's not really much points for originality. All of these games have had a Maria since Maria. There's that. Feet, yes, she does have feet. People like feet. She is very cool. Her fight is very satisfying. It has a fun gimmick where she goes invisible, a la Priscilla. There's a lot of kind of fun callbacks to the Painted World in the Painted World DLC. And yeah, she is really, really cool and fun to fight. And there's also Ariandel, who is also here and can't get out of a chair. I'm a big fan of the little and large combo. My flail. Bring to me my flail. They have an interesting story that doesn't really give much information on because it's Dark Souls, and I think it's best when it doesn't give much information on things. The mystery is always more interesting. I think he has a beard, right? Yeah, and he's just sort of chained to a chair. Because he's there for the purposes of penitence. Yeah, the little and large, it is a multi-character fight. Phase 1 is Frida. It's very fun. It's very good. One-on-one, satisfying. Phase 2 is both of them, which is annoying, but not terrible. It's not the worst because they have very different ways of fighting you. One of them is very slow to get to you, and the other one is quite nimble and moves around a lot, and you can deal with that more than something like Ornstein and Smoke, right? Where they both move at roughly the same pace and do roughly the same things. By that alone, this would be quite high. Because they look cool, they have cool lore, it's a very good phase 1, kind of annoying phase 2, if spectacular. It has a phase 3, which is like phase 1, but much harder. And I'm not a huge fan of 2-phase boss fights. 3 phases is 1 phase too many. I think everybody can agree on that. The player is her replacement Ashen One. When the Ash number 2, the flame alighteth. Black Flame Frida. So yeah, this is gonna get marked down, unfortunately, purely because it is a 3-phase fight, and that is just enough. There are no checkpoints. You have to do all 3 phases in one. Reactions good streamer bait. Oh god. Like, I guess it's good because this is the only other boss in the DLC. So it's like, hey, you get 3 bosses in one. Like, this isn't going to be low. This is a very well done fight. There is nothing about the fight itself which is annoying. It's just the fact that it's so long. Then you have to learn the two different styles of fighting, and then alternate between them in order to do it well. It's just long fights are not my thing. I don't like endurance bosses, but they are very, very cool and good fights in isolation. So, put them in there. B? I'll put them in B. Oh, no, yeah, why not? Bida and Barry and Dell. I'd say maybe being a little generous because it's 3 phases is very annoying, but it's what it is. Oh god, we've been going so long. Twin princes, demon princes, 2 demon princes, twin demons. What do they look like? I don't know. They're like bats. They're the bat demons from Dark Souls 1. That's a goat. What do they look like, brain? Do something. This is what you got, right? Okay. This is Ornstein and Smoke. But it's demon and demon. Basically exactly the same format. You fight both of them at once. You kill one. It's slightly different, and then you have to kill the other again, but whichever one that you didn't kill first gets a superpowered form. So it's like Ornstein and Smo, and then Ornstein, and then Mega Ornstein. So it's just a little bit more elongated. Jeff and John, the demons, the bat demons. I don't like multi-enemy boss fights. You know this. We all know this. I've said it so many times. But, again, they have mitigated this with a clever idea. These bosses run out of energy. And they kind of alternate in running out of energy, not by design necessarily, but it just happens. One of them tends to attack you a lot, the other one stays behind and regains some energy and just sort of spits poison at you from a distance. So it works, but occasionally they will overlap in their energy and you've got to be careful, and I think that's fine. It works quite well. If you're trying to rush things, things are going to go bad, but other than that. Phase 2 is lasers or explosions, depending on which you kill. The demon in pain or the demon from below. Do you like lasers or horrific firestorms? Too bad, you'll kill the other one first. Yeah, so... I will say, I can't remember, did I beat these first try or second try on my... I streamed my first playthrough of this DLC, it's all online. But they're tougher than they feel, in a sense, because there's just a lot of management to get it right. Either way, there's 2 demons. I think this is fine. There they are. Jim and John, what are their names? Lasers is easier. I prefer the lasers. Explosions, AoEs are less great. You can dodge through a laser. All the poison. A lot of poison from a distance. Not as bad as we'll get to Elden Ring. Not amazing. It's kind of nice to see the brain demons from... Oh, brains! That's what they're missing. Quick change. They have the big brain things on the top of their heads. Yeah, it's nice to see the brain demons from Dark Souls 1 having a thing going on somewhere. They've got a boss. You also find them in Firelink, which I didn't notice. Someone else had to point that one out to me. The ruins that you find them in, if you look carefully, they're bits of Firelink from Dark Souls 1. Yeah, so I'm not gonna put them that high. They're, again, my list. I can put them where I want. Ancient Wyvern. A lot of screaming as well. I might actually... This is going to sound bad. I'm going to rank them lower because of the screaming. They're not below the I would be fine if they got removed threshold, but there's better stuff in this DLC. What games have we done so far? We've done 1, 2, and we're now doing 3. Bloodborne will be next. A bit of everything everywhere in that place. Oh, I don't know. Nice. It is the Dread Keep. You know, it's the remnants of civilizations gone. Which is kind of cool. Ringed City. Half-Light. Half-Light is a kind of reworking of a boss from Demon Souls, apparently, which is like basically NPC invasion. I don't tend to play online, so here's just a guy. I don't know what Half-Light looks like. Spirit of the Church. Got that, and you can have a sword. And then question mark on your face. Do you remember me saying last time the Looking Glass Knight, the Mirror Knight from Dark Souls 2, was like a really cool, novel way of doing the PvP invasion thing boss from Demon Souls? They didn't really try here. They just did it again. Turban Head? Okay, Turban Head. Needed help falling asleep. I'm back. Hello! We're in the DLC. The massive yellow turban the invader swamp uses, that's where it's from. Oh, you're talking about Demon Souls. Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah, the Xanthus in Dark Souls 1. It's called the Xanthus set. Yes. Which is fun. It's very silly. I like it. But also kind of creepy. Very creepy, if you think about what's under it. Someone's done a cosplay of that, surely. I don't have time to look this up. Someone else look it up. Half-Light. Honestly don't care. Just go away. Do not care about Half-Light in the slightest. Midir. Tip's hat. Midir. Midir is dragon. How many times can I draw a dragon? Actual dragon this time. It's got all 4 legs. If you didn't know, dragons have 4 legs, wyverns only have 2. Which makes dragons insects. No, it doesn't. Insects actually tend to have multiple wings and 6 legs. With players S tier NPC, what's the point? It's only half a dragon first. I'm not counting, that's not a boss fight, so I'm only counting the boss fight side of this. How to... I've forgotten how limbs work. Hang on. Midir is dragon. It's dragon. It's kind of cool dragon. It's a dark dragon. Dragon of the Abyss. Abyss dragon. Like, you know, the black dragon Calamite. Less cool design. It just looks like a dragon. Doesn't have anything interesting about its motif or anything. It's just its wings are a bit tattered, I seem to recall. It's a bit shabby. It's made it to the end of time, but it's looking a bit worse for wear. You like house cat size Midir the best? Yeah. Tiny Midir. That's great. If people don't know what I'm talking about, was it Zully? Zully the Witch? Messed around with some NPC sizes and made a Midir that was absolutely tiny, little house cat Midir. This is another boss that has lasers. And also a boss that is holding an invisible lightning shaft. Again, Zully the Witch can show you more information than that. Evidently that was something that was cut from the game, but anyone who's played Elden Ring will know that was an idea that was reused. I don't like this fight. I don't. This is Camera, the boss. It's too big. This boss is too big. Way too big. Fighting this is an exercise in just guesswork. It has attacks that will kill you from a long distance with wind-up that you just have to memorize. It's just not fun. I don't like this boss. I'm sorry. I know there are people out there who think this is the best fight in the whole series, and I'm glad, because I don't hate this. I don't like it. I want to like it because it's a cool dragon, but it's just annoying to do. It's optional. Is it more annoying than Ancient Wyvern? Yeah, probably. D. I don't want to put it in D. C minus. D. Oh, that's D. D. I wouldn't want to say it removed. It's kind of cool. Yeah, D. D for dragon. Now, in Elden Ring, dragons just go, screw you, we use the lightning now. Yeah, exactly. We are the lightning users. Summoned a guy with a big hammer, we just bonked it. I can imagine that's a bit of a better way. One distracts, one attacks. But again, single player. I'm judging this by my own experiences. Gale. Gale combines two things I've talked about before. Such your dark soul. He says the thing. He talks about Dark Souls. You see, he finds the Dark Soul. At the end of time, he finds it. I don't know what he's looking for it for. For the painting, right? Isn't something? I don't know, making a painting. Getting out of there. Yeah. Distracts never just ran at it mid-air, runs away a lot, you found. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Gale's a two-phase fight. Which is basically phase 2 and phase 1 are relatively similar. I don't think they share any moves per se, but they're not like, you know, Osiris phase 1 and phase 2 where you're fighting a completely different thing. Oh, there's the Soul of Cinder. Soul of Gundyr. Lovely. But yeah, the phase 2 is just like way over the top, very anime. It's got his repeating crossbow. Fires multiple arrows. Fires loads of arrows. Cool set piece, you fight him literally at the end of the universe. Everything is ash, and it's just him, the furtive pygmy, and you, and that's it. Or the Pygmy Lords, or whoever they are. It's not clear. It's Dark Souls. You know, they wanted to make sure with this DLC that there's not going to be anything else in this franchise. You see the end of the universe. It is over. Moving on. Elden Ring. Yeah, so this has two... Gale is S tier, love this fight. Okay, so this takes into account two things I've mentioned before. Very satisfying one-on-one fight with a dance. You can see my first fight of this. It took me a while, but I got there in the end. I kept saying safe a lot because I was trying to get the timing right. It's like dodge, 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 safe, attack. And that's good to me. I like learning that rhythm and feeling it, and not memorizing a rhythm. You learn it through feedback, like not just trial and error, but like, oh no, that felt wrong, that felt too early, felt too, so on and so forth. And that's good. That's a good sign. However, controversial opinion, this boss has too much health. It goes on way too long. I talked about endurance when we were talking about Frida. This is a 3-phase fight, right? This boss lasts longer than Frida. And it's 2 phases. It has so much health. Honestly, I would have been happier if they would just have 2 different health bars for phase 1 and phase 2, but that's just me. Yeah, that is honestly my only criticism of this boss, is it just has way too much health, in my opinion. A lot of people would not consider that a problem. I do. But everything's got to have an issue, right? Nothing's perfect. So, you know, what you're going to do. Also, who's Gale? It's just a guy helping out somebody painting a picture. Is this significant? Not particularly. It kind of comes out of nowhere and then you kill him. Um, but hey, whatever. Never found that. Guess build matters a lot. Maybe. I was using like what in any other instance feels like it would have done a lot of damage. I don't know. I remember looking it up afterwards and not finding anything that would have done more damage for my build. It's like it's just a bit of a nuisance, really. Again, not a problem much, but it's annoying. Yeah, that's fair. A+. Well, maybe this stream is going to last a while. We've done Dark Souls 3. Just clubbed him with a big sword. I use Great Sword. Well, I use the Black Knight Great Sword, but if you want to be specific. And I feel it just looked like you were doing such little damage, and it took so long. Because there's just so few opportunities to. It's got that Artorias thing of there are just so few opportunities to attack. But with Artorias, you are actually making a decent amount of progress every time you hit. With Gale, it just felt like it took way too long. And then again, that might just be me and my impatience. But what are you gonna do? We have 20 minutes until the usual ending point of the stream. This is when I decide whether or not to actually do Bloodborne. Dark Souls 3 done before end stream? I mean, we're done. This is Dark Souls 3. Unless I've forgotten a boss. That's pretty good. We could end there, and then just do Bloodborne a different day. If we end here, we could do Bloodborne and Chalice Dungeons next time. Oh, there's a Lorien thing. I thought this was Gale's music. Like, oh, brilliant. You beat him once with Fume Sword, because that doubles as a shield with the paired greatswords for animation shenanigans. Yeah. A lot of people like the Fume Ultra Greatsword. I honestly, there's something about the phrase Ultra Greatsword that just sounds so stupid to me. Okay, well, we can zoom out. We've done the Dark Souls franchise. This is my opinion of the Dark Souls franchise, which, as it turns out, it's skewed ever so slightly to the negative. Who would have thought? There's only one, like, true F. There's a couple that are sort of balancing in F, but not really, like, properly F. And there's a couple of S's. It's so annoying that Gale just a little less health. Little less. I've drawn my faves in more ways. I could do, or I could go back and try and fix some of the absolute terrors that I've done. Like, what is this? I could do a show and tell, kind of. Here's the difference. Spot the difference between Osiris and my drawing of Osiris. And let me get the actual picture up. This is from the concept art book, which is very good. It's like it's basically the same, right? Lovely design, but very Bloodborne. It feels very Bloodborne. Bit seethy as well. You got the kind of seath, iridescent sort of feathers. The concept art in these games is just phenomenal. So yeah, it looks less like a donkey in the in that. Yeah, it's got that kind of Ebrietus sort of thing going on in the back and the legs. That's a knee. It's got quite a deep voice. Ocelot. According to my closed captions, I just said that EastEnders looks like a donkey. No, Osiris. Not Noah Cyrus. Who else have I done a particularly good job of? Okay, I want to see what I've done wrong with Gundir. Gundir? Gundir. Well, he's got a kind of crowny thing. It looks sad. Also, boob plate. Oh, he does have faces in the shoulders. That's weird. Everything has a crown in this game. Why does everything have a crown? Yeah, shoulder faces are a tad too high. Yeah. Also, a little less on the happy sad kind of thing. Closed captions have been doing their own things for a while now. Yeah, CC is... I think this just demonstrates that I need to speak clearer. I need to try and enunciate a little more... with a little more clarity, for the sake of poor CC. But yeah, that's kind of nice. I got boob armor, big boobs, big six pack. I like how the armor, this sort of this bit of the armor here, it sort of looks folded, but it's armor. It's kind of nice. That's an interesting idea. Has anyone made armor that looks like it's folded cloth? Because I know people, you know, looking at like really, really good old statues who have somehow managed to make stone look like it's soft material, which is just an amazing achievement. But being able to do that with armor, I've never seen that before. I'm sure it's been done, but I've never seen it before. Armor imitating bare feet on Gundyr. Yeah, got a bit of a Smo thing going on there, I guess. Boob armor sounds like Boobama. Thanks, Boobama. Okay, who else has been the old Demon King. I remember the old Demon King looking a bit grumpy. Is that what it's called? I've got a picture of Conan. That's not the old Demon King. What are you doing? There is old Demon King. Why am I not getting any pictures? Give me pictures of the old Demon King. Old Demon King, Dark Souls 3, cheese. I don't want cheese, I want images. Is there any good... Oh, yep, cool. We've got the... Got the concept art here. I could have sworn one of his antlers was snapped off. Yeah, that's just me. He does have a beard. It's got a big old rooty beard. Look at that. And he is carrying a lump, but it's even more lumpy than I thought. When you get images of him, you don't know what your search engine is doing. It recommends weird things to me, I don't know. Cloth scrunched up and spray painted, basically. If you can do like good hammering. Good hammering, everybody. Nilfgaards? Maybe you can cut it off in the fight. No, I don't think so. You can stagger it and make it sort of fall over a bit like you did with the thingamabobs, the dried up ones. But you can just cut off their legs, just crumble. Who else? Oh yeah, the twin demons. What are they called? Demon Prince. We've got the Demon King. What do the Demon Prince look like? Ooh. Concept art is busy. You know what I mean? This feels very Bloodborne. Yeah, so we're going for the bat thing. With the sort of bits over the eyes and so on and so forth. I love how, like, if you zoom out, like, this just feels like so detailed. This is just such an amazing, like, piece of art. And then you zoom in and you're like, not too far. You don't have to zoom in far and you're like, oh, look, these are just very loosely painted on lines. These are just little squiggles in the chest. This is concept art. This was done quickly. But it is so good. They know exactly what details to add and what ones not to. It's messy, yeah. Very cool. And then I did this. Midir. Let's compare Midir. See if there's anything interesting about Midir's design that I missed. Two Prince's wings are completely shredded, but when they merge, they all fill out. Oh, interesting. Speaking of shredded wings, is there any concept art? I can't find concept art. Ooh, I can find concept art. That looks way cooler than in the game. It's also tiny. Look at that. That's amazing. Like a dragon made of smoke. Doesn't look like that in the game. I mean, generally, the general form, the head looks quite similar, and that kind of speckled, sort of, almost crystalline look to it. Actually, maybe actually crystalline. Not good enough quality to zoom in and see what's paint and what's detail. Yeah, Smoke Dragon sounds amazing. But also, if you're trying to do that in a game engine, I can understand why they wouldn't have gone with that idea. It's very easy to do with painting. You smudge the paint. In a 3D game environment, nah. Very cool, though. Let's just look up cool art, cool concept art for stuff. What else did I do? We could have had a good look at. Is there anything special about the Crystal Sages, other than Big Hat? Big Hat and Bowl. Concept art. Here we go. Oh, they got the beak mask. I forgot they have a beak mask. Got the whole beak mask thing going on. No. Other than that, it's basically just big hat and robes and big hat, robes, and a ball. You know what could be fun? A copy this concept art monthly session where we all do the same thing. Like there's streams where everyone copies the same pose. Interesting. Never seen that. Oh, no, I remember that from the games. I just completely forgot it while drawing. That's what happens when you try and draw something. All of the detail leaves your brain. You thought they had a big nose. No, I think, well, maybe they do. Maybe the mask is form-fitting. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's a mask. Of those, it's so fun to see how fast you can make something and what you prioritize when it's timed, and then then change picture. Yeah, I'm bad at that. I take bloody ages to get detail down, and I need to learn how not to. So maybe this would be a good thing to do. I need to learn how to get the right details down as fast as possible and gesturally, you know, point towards the rest of the details. Because it's like there's not a lot. You see, there's literal squiggle. You can see a literal squiggle in there. It's just somebody with a brush just went. Ugh. And like this, the brim of this hat, again, just little scratches of color. But then you focus in, you look at those hands. It's like all this lighting on the hands and shadows, and the care was put there, and how it's sort of glistening on the jewelry and stuff. You know what details to do, and you know what details not to do. Ponder in that orb. That's what they do. They ponder the orb. Time drawings aren't a bad thing. Yeah, no, that's something I need to do. You obsess over details way too much, but when you do those exercises, it's so freeing. Yeah, I feel like I kind of want to do that for not just on small scale, like individual drawings, but on projects as well. I tend to obsess over tiny details on a lot of projects, and I'm like, no, just, give myself, get this done in a month or whatever. Focus on the things that are important, and then the rest of it can, wash away, and you can get onto something else. Right, what else is there? I'm enjoying this. This is more fun than I thought it would be. Grave Tender and Great Wolf. Is there anything interesting in the concept art for the Grave Tender? Is there any concept art for the Grave Tender? There appears not to be. It's just a guy and a wolf. The streams are very fun, but having reference is probably helpful. No, yeah. I don't use reference half as much as I should for anything. It's just like doing the working on the Outliers Elden Ring comic at the moment, and just using references for the costumes in that. I've learned quite a lot about costumes. Just looking at these costumes and going, oh, that's an interesting design for a belt. I didn't know those sort of breastplates looked like that, and they had that sort of cut by the neck. Oh, I've seen those sort of loopy things on the arms before in like medieval costumes. I never really paid attention to how they work, etc., etc. References are good. You can learn things. There are no pictures of a wolf and a man. Are there any pictures for Half-Light? Because Half-Light feels... I could have drawn the giant behind Half-Light. Because there's the Adjudicator, which is a lovely title. There is concept art. Ooh! There is actual concept art for Half-Light. He looks cool. That looks like something out of Yoshitaka Amano concept art. Those sort of early drafts of a Final Fantasy main character. References are so helpful, absolutely, when you remember to use them precisely. That and the cloth and the patterns on the cloth, like they specify this pattern here. You must utilize this pattern. Shoes. Flappy shoes. So now I'm just looking at costume. It's got a corset. I have no idea if that character has any lore at all, but I was very surprised to see it in a concept art. Given that for a lot of people, they weren't in the game. They were replaced by another player. I want to see concept art of Wolnir. I know it's just a big skeleton, but I want to see... this is probably a very good demonstration of where to use detail and where not to. Oh! No, this is a very good detail of the limitations of a game engine, is what it is. Okay, I definitely don't remember that being a thing. Hang on, let me put it in frame. So, Wolnir, spooky skeleton, big old spooky skeleton with the cape and lots of skulls underneath it. Do you remember me saying that smoke would be difficult? How about that? That is amazing. You take like the features of a skull and turn it into this sort of wispy smoke thing that's sort of duplicating the swirling ripples of smoke. That is impossible to make in a game engine, but just the best concept art, my word. Smoke skeleton, I know, it's so cool. Wolnir is not this cool in the game. It is just a big skeleton. They got the crown though. The crown is pretty spot on. Got the bracelets. I'm pretty sure that is... Hang on. That's the Bloodborne Hunter. This is Bloodborne concept art. Wolnir was stolen from Bloodborne. Which makes sense. I mean, this is a very Bloodborne-y idea. Or maybe they just copied the... Because they tend to have a character in these things for scale. And they just sort of copy and paste the character. As needs be, they're not going to draw a character for every single one. So they might have just gone, there are similar clothes in Dark Souls. Just copy that one, stick it in there. But yeah, this whole, I was interested actually for the sort of gestural idea of like, oh, all those skeletons that they're made up of, like how much detail are you going to put in there? But if this thing's just made of smoke, you can just see the couple of little dots of dark and a splash of light there, and that's enough to imply that there's a skull. Dot dot splash. Dot dot splash. This has just become concept art appreciation now. Looks kind of like amygdala. It's got that kind of interconnected, sort of interwoven, I'd say Voronoi feel to it, which is a sort of a noise pattern that you'll find ripples of water have it, ripples of smoke. Anything that needs to make a kind of a net around something with as little material as possible tends to do it, which is why the amygdala is based on a plant that does that. Hang on, let me have a look and see if I can get a picture of the plant. Because there's the tonsil stone in the game, which is very clearly sort of a reference to the thing that it is supposed to be, but I'm trying to... Can't find it. Yeah, unfortunately, if you don't know what it's called, it's very difficult to look something up. Either way, I'm sure there's another Zully video on it. But yeah. Oh, Sulivan. Let's look up Sulivan. Before we go, we're almost done. Because I don't think I did a particularly good job of demonstrating Sulivan. It's up here. Look at him. Being cool. Being even cooler in the concept art. My word. Wow, it looks sort of... Ooh. I've got the wings! He's got wings! Again, kind of like brittle tree wings. He's got the two swords, he's got the weird head, he does have a crown. It's very inky here. I like that. Representation of the darkness as being inky. Is it only in stage 2? Oh, okay. I can be excused. A lot more refinery as well. Refinery? Finery. Yeah. And again, like the sort of implication of things going on, sort of yeah, it's got this kind of weird rooty thing going on in the face. And there's sort of a certain amount of detail in these sort of twig areas down here, but if you start looking like at the background, these are just splashes of ink, scratches of colour here and there, because it just gives you the point. Whereas this, add texture, you know? That looks like it's been liquefied. I know how I would do that. So this has been the Dark Souls Concept Art Appreciation Hour. I think that was rather fun. Anyway, yes, so I guess next week we do Bloodborne. And I rank the bosses of Bloodborne. It'd be very interesting to find out where they go. Because I don't know. This is the weird thing with Bloodborne, is that Bloodborne as an entirety is something I really, really, really love. But I couldn't necessarily pick out any like boss that I would point to and go, this is the kind of thing I like about it. It's just sort of like as a whole. So I guess if I have to start picking apart bosses, I don't know where they'd go. We'll find out. Concept art's very cool and amazing. It's good. It's very good. Yay. So I have now disappointed Dark by ranking everything incorrectly. I'm looking forward to Dark's stream where he does the whole series himself. But until then, I'm going to end the stream. It was a very good stream. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be back on Saturday. What with? Don't know. Apparently Raft was updated to full release. That says Neo there. So we'll see what's going on with that. Not sure. Yeah, so maybe we'll do a stream on Saturday, whatever it may entail. We do a lot of very bad drawings. It's part of the fun. You've seen my very bad drawings. It works. Yeah. Yeah, maybe Raft on Saturday. Sunday, more Project Via. Hopefully I will actually have something to show for Project Via this week. Fingers crossed. Not that far crossed, because I have to rest it. Because it's still playing up a little bit, but it's not too bad. Bad drawings are good too. I don't think that's what the word bad means. I agree with the spirit, but it's etymology, you know? Yeah. Thanks for coming along. Hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you around doing various bits and bobs wherever you are. I assume there's a Chibi stream tomorrow, maybe, don't know. Yeah, I'll be back on Saturday. Etc. Rest my hand. No, I have much to do. Much to do. I rested my hand by not doing Bloodborne this evening. So, yeah. Yeah. And you rest yourself and your body covered in poison. Hopefully people can get that sorted out. Hopefully your garden can get cleared up. Yeah. I also have to brush up on Dishonored RPG. In a couple of Saturdays' time, we will there'll be a stream skipped because we're hoping to start up the Dishonored RPG again, so bear that in mind. But for now, business as usual. Have a wonderful time, everyone. Thank you for being here. Look after yourselves. I'll see you around. Goodbye. Bye.